Our next company is Gapwaves, where we have CEO Lars-Inge Sjöqvist with us on stage. We also have equity analyst Forbes Goldman and our external expert Kristoffer Lindström, partner at C Ventures and CSO at MarketZoo. Forbes, could you please give us an introduction to Gapwaves?
Sure, and thank you very much for the introduction. So Gapwaves is a Swedish tech company that specializes in developing antennas, and well, it has more than 30 patent families to its name. Its antennas are based on the waveguide technology and are very useful at high frequencies. The company targets 3 segments in particular. This is automotive, other verticals such as last mile delivery vehicles, autonomous driving, but also the telecom segment. Should also be worth noting that the company has 2 license agreements in place. So this is 2 high volume agreements, one with Veoneer and one with Hella, that should enter high volume production next year and from 2024. So that's short about the company. So I'll start off with a question about Veoneer, one of your customers. This is a company that is currently being acquired. So how realistic is it that this agreement actually will enter production next year?
Well, as far as I know today, that we know that Veoneer has developed a Gen 3 version of their radars, and that is including our antenna technology. How far they are coming into the discussions with the customers, etc., I don't know, but I think they were in place with some contracts coming 2 years. So yeah, as you know, Veoneer is also a little stretched because they have sold one part of the company to Qualcomm, and the other part is, I guess, also for sales at the moment to someone else. So it will probably end up in another tier 1 customer. That's my belief. So I see there will be continuation in that as well.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I mean, overall, could you explain the key market drivers that you view is the thing that is driving Gapwaves, like technologies and everything?
Yeah, the most important part, as we see now, is really this going to more autonomous driving cars, both for commercial things, but also for personal traffic, taxis, etc. All of these type of initiatives will need a better sensor system. There are LiDARs on the market, there are radars, there are also cameras, and we will see a suite of them working together. But we know that the radar has some advantages in front of the other ones, and the radar sensors will most probably have our technology inside if to go for the bigger imaging radar, but also for the smaller corner radars, etc.
And what are those advantages, would you say?
We can use the full bandwidth of the band you can use in the automotive industry. That means you can go from 77 to 81 gigahertz in one antenna solution. That is impossible to do with a classical patch antenna. So that has broadened up. For example, Hella is more than love to use this full technology, because then you have a lot better resolution. The other part is that going for these bigger imaging radar antennas, you will always have a quite long routing from your chipset to the antenna port. That means you will lose the most of your signal if you don't have a waveguide solution. And our waveguide solution is really already in place in some of these. We are working with roughly 10 different customers at the moment, and most of them are using, of course, our technique then.
Yeah. So basically, in a sense, it's a technology bet.
Yeah.
And why would you say that? What are the signs that this is the right technology compared to competitive technologies in terms of, I don't know, orders, market share, user adoption?
Looking to really the big customer we are working with today in the automotive industry, you see these tier 1s. I can name some of them. We work with Hella already, which is Forvia today. They are number 7 on earth on this side. But we also have Veoneer as a company working with us. And then we have 3 more of these tier ones like Bosch, Continental, etc., who also are working with our technique. We are not in full agreement with them, but we do develop products for them to test. On the other hand, going for the typical global companies, tech giants, they are more coming into this from, I can call it robotaxi or last mile delivery solutions. In these cases, we have more than 4 companies today working with us, also testing our technique very much. And we can also listen to what they say, and they really are fond of what they have seen that we can deliver to them. So we for sure we will be on the market. That's I'm pretty sure I can say to just say that.
So, could you talk about your main strategy for growth in the coming years?
Of course, growth number 1 is to take on more customers, big one. And I will say most customers we are working with, almost everyone, is very large companies. But we want to take on, like what we work with today, up to 10. And then we have 2 models. We can sell the license for very high volume market like the corner radar solution. But we also have started to develop and produce the antennas, meaning that we assemble and test the antennas. We buy the parts and put them together, deliver to customers. And that's specifically on the imaging radar. They are bigger, it's more value, and there is also more margin in that product.
And yeah.
And that's two. I can say the third one as well. Because we are also looking for when we are in discussions now with a number of customers, they really ask for not only an antenna, of course, they want to have a radar sensor. So that's also something we are evaluating, how that could be implemented from us as well. Quite raw data solution for imaging radars would be very interested to have a full product. But that means we need to develop more. That's not on the more than just discussion yet.
But on that note, how are you looking into like those type of cycle times, or that what time frame are they for those type of new ventures? Is it R&D cycle for 3 years, or is it longer, or how do you think about it?
My view is that typically automotive companies like the tier ones, they work 3 years with a new technology before it comes to a product on the market. Going for the robotaxi and other stuff, they are a little bit more quick coming out and testing things, but the high volumes will take longer time as well. So I don't assume we will see big volumes in any of these before 2, 3, 4 years from here.
Yeah.
But as we are in many places now, so then we also see that it will grow, and we are growing already today in numbers also. Both people and delivery, and also some financial.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so I would like to talk about you can either sell entire antennas and receive as a product sale, or you can license the technology and receive a royalty. And with the larger automotive high volume agreements, you've chosen the royalty path, and for lower volume imaging radar kind of antennas, you're doing product sales. Is it this way you envision this going forward as well?
Clearly we have already received a question if we could take on also high volume production for a tier one, meaning that we should make a number of millions units per year. What we do have in capacity today to deliver on the imaging radar side is roughly 150,000 units per year. That's really in-house what we can do today. But going for the really high numbers, the price is also going down, so it's a more tough thing to do. And we have not taken the decision to go into the very high volume production fully yet, because it also means more investment from us. And I think it's better to use the technology and the driver with the license, and then use it for imaging radar, which has a big value for the customer as well. So we start there, but the opportunity is also on our side.
And that to increase the capacity basically of the production, do you envision to invest that, or is it something you can outsource to third parties also, or do you only need to do it yourself, so would be a large investment?
As we do today, we work with suppliers in this area.
Yeah.
We do have some partners in China. It's Franken Group doing the plastic parts, meaning injection molding and also metallization. And these sheets we're using it when we put it together. But yeah, this can be, so to say, built in different ways. What is important here is that we have taken on the part of doing the assembly, that part of the production line, but also the testing, because the testing is quite critical, and it's also need our technology people working with the antenna development. So to really be sure that we can deliver a good product, we have already developed the test system and also the assembly station, which are used by our suppliers now in China, but also in Europe. The next one is a sub-supplier from Hellas side coming in as well now. Okay.
Yeah. So another topic is that obviously your customers are very large companies. So how do you make sure that you get paid enough for your technology and antennas?
Yeah, we strive for that. I can say in every negotiation we are into. As I said, we are involved in roughly 10 different cases at the moment. And in parallel, we are running negotiations on contracts. And you need to be quite patient and take your time, because it's better not rush into much in this, as we need to have a much the most out of it to Gapwaves, of course. That's for the shareholders. Yeah, we should have profit here. It's a possibility, but it's always tough working with these very large companies. So you have to be sometimes, as I made some weeks ago, I was just leaving the room and said, there is no deal. That could be a good way to start a new discussion.
Does that happen often? Yes.
No. Normally we are not so, but sometimes you need to put down your feet and say, this is not an option anymore. We are too far from each other. But
it's a hard negotiation, obviously.
Yeah, but sometimes that could be a good sign, because if they really want the technology as they want, they are back now, and we will sign a contract with them. I'm pretty sure.
Good sales tactic.
Yeah.
I mean, on that note as well, like input prices have really increased a lot the last year. So do you have any option to pass this on to your customers?
The typical way in this large contract with the tier ones is that you have a clause in the contract saying that if the price is going more up and like X%, we are in a negotiation phase with them directly. And they also have the same clause to their customer, the OEMs, like BMW or someone else on that end. So there is an openness, because there are price increase, yes, especially on the metals. Yeah.
Thank you so much for being here, all of you, and for a very interesting conversation about Gapwaves. Thank you.